What is up, Cowboys fans, and welcome to the first ever live stream here on the Cowboys Report channel with your host, me, Rob. How is everybody doing today? We are 1 week away for football. The NFL season starts officially Thursday, with the Chiefs and the Lions, but of course, all the games on Sunday is where we are all waiting for football to start again. And it is about time, especially me, myself, who is living in New York, who is a diehard New York Mets fan, and that season is over, basically. I can't wait for football to start. The Dallas Cowboys, ladies and gentlemen, are as talented a roster as you can have. We said this many times over the years. It is going to take excellent coaching. We're going to hopefully see that from Mike McCarthy. We're going to hopefully see the offense be more dynamic because McCarthy is calling the plays and not Kellen Moore. There is so much to talk about for the season. That is why we're doing a season preview live stream right here. So make sure you hit on that like button, ladies and gentlemen. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We're going to go throughout the season, throughout the NFL season, throughout the Cowboys season, and enjoy hopefully a very, very successful Cowboys season. And you know what that means? That means raising the Vince Lombardi trophy at the end of the year. So hopefully everybody is doing good and getting their tailgates ready, getting that crisp jersey out of the closet, getting the Cowboys hat, getting the hot dogs, the burgers, the wings, the ribs, everything that you're ready to start the NFL season, to sit at home, watch the game, or be at the parking lot waiting for the game to start, to tailgate a few hours before the game. And the anticipation of week one of the NFL season is so close, ladies and gentlemen, and I cannot wait to bring you awesome coverage throughout the NFL season, and of course, live streams during Cowboys games. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's something that I do with my Mets channel, where I go live during the Mets games, and we have fan reactions. We got live play-by-play with the audio, and we just get a good vibe going. Of course, during the season, we're going to see how it goes, and we're going to get news and rumors throughout the season and everything like that as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy the channel, and make sure you hit on that like button and subscribe to the channel. So topics for tonight I'm going to go a little bit more about me, the contract with Steele. We're going to go about other big contracts that the Cowboys had throughout the offseason. Big key players that got contracts. We're going to talk about Dak, and is he the guy that bring the Cowboys to the promised land? We're also going to talk about week one of the season, Sunday Night Football, Giants, Cowboys, and I'm going to give my prediction of the record that I think the Cowboys will have throughout the season and through this gauntlet of an NFC East. So we're going to get started with About Me. So if you don't know about me, I do have a YouTube channel. It is Talking Mets with Rob, a diehard New York Mets fan living in New York. Yes, I am one of those Cowboy fans that live in New York. Go figure. I started that channel a couple years ago. It started to get big over the last year and a half, and I really do appreciate everybody subscribing to that channel. And I've always got people that are baseball fans that are big football fans. It says, hey, why don't you start a football channel, of your favorite team? And I decided that, and then I just finally started to do it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I am a Cowboys fan. I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. I grew up a Cowboys fan in New York, around Giant fans, around Jet fans. So you know how that is, especially as our Cowboys continue to not actually get to the promised land and raise that Vince Lombardi trophy since the 90s and the Jimmy Johnson era. It's just really, really annoying to see Giant fans and hear Giant fans talk about their team and just have to deal with that on a daily basis. Obviously, they have the most recent Super Bowls in New York when it comes to football, and I had to hear about that as a Cowboys fan. And then, of course, the Eagles a couple of years back. It's just not been exactly what the Cowboys fans really need to hear. And it's about time that the Cowboys, with the talented roster that they have, to finally put that talent together, put the coaching staff together, and win a damn trophy. It's about time. It's been long enough. Then I was a young kid in the 90s, and it's about time. The Aikman, the Irvin, the Sanders, all those Emmitt Smith years are way behind us now. We love those teams, but it's about time that Dak Prescott, Pollard, Diggs, Parsons, those guys take us to the promised land. We got to win a title, guys. This is a tough NFC East, as we all know. We know the Eagles are the team that everybody is picking to win the NFC East. We know the Giants made the playoffs last year. We'll see how that turns out this year. The Commanders are always a tough team to deal with, especially with their defense. They do have a dynamic offense, but who knows if Howell is going to be the quarterback to take them to that next level. So with the Cowboys, it's not going to be an easy season. It's not an easy schedule. Obviously, they play the NFC East. They play those teams twice each. And, of course, this year they're playing the AFC East as well. So that is something that is not going to be easy. Now the Jets got better. We know about the Bills. And you know about, the Dolphins. We don't know. The Patriots can always play tough as well. But that is something that we also have to look at as well. So we're going to start right away with the Terence Steele contract extension that everybody has been talking about today. And it is a very, very, very expensive deal. And it's something that I'm just going to pull it up right now just to give you the official numbers. It is obviously the right tackle, offensive tackle, Terence Steele, agreed to a 5-year, $86.8 million extension today, actually, with $50 million guaranteed. It can go all the way up a little bit above $91 million. If it gets to that max total, but that is something that is just going to help the offensive line a ton. And it is the contract that was needed. It's well-deserved, especially a guy who was undrafted, got signed in free agency, undrafted free agent in 2020. It's nice to see guys like that are not drafted make the team and then cause havoc, and is a guy that gets a big-time contract in Dallas, and that is something that you always have to look at when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. So that line is going to get helped out a little bit more, of course, with Terence Steele and obviously Zach Martin as well. So that is one of the contracts we are looking at today that came down today. And of course, the other contracts that went down during this offseason that are notable is Trayvon Diggs, 5 years, $97 million. Obviously, Terence Steele, 5 years, $86.8 million. Zach Martin, 2 years, $36.85 million. And that is something that with Zach Martin, there was some talk about I would say about a month ago, that there was a possibility he could be traded because they couldn't come to a contract agreement, and that was something that people would worry about. I mean, you heard about the Jets talking about it, specifically in New York in general, but we got the deal done, 2 years, $36.85 million, and Tony Pollard signed a franchise tag, $10.09 million. Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb are up for extensions as well. And let's see what else we can do. Micah Parsons is going to be eligible next year for an extension as well. So there is a lot to talk about when it comes to that. Again, the key guys that needed to be signed and get extensions and get contracts are there. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, the Cowboys have the talent. What we have to look at now is it Mike McCarthy, the guy, the coach, to take this team to the next level, right? There's some Cowboy fans, there's been a lot of talk that people thought he should be fired, right? And, yes, they changed Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator. It is looking like more and more that McCarthy is going to be the guy that is going to be calling these offensive plays. Is that going to help Dak Prescott? We hope so, because last year Dak Prescott had a down year. 15 interceptions is not going to cut it. Dak Prescott hasn't won the big game yet. And it's about time. Dak Prescott, got a very, very nice contract. Big contract. It's a guy that they made him, the Cowboys made Dak Prescott the franchise quarterback. He's got to get it done. He's got a ton of talent. He's got a very good offensive line. He's got the weapons. The defense is excellent, top 5 in my opinion, and it's just got to be done. It's just that simple. They're talented enough to win, and there's nothing else to say about that. Is that they got to do it on the field. Like, go out week 1 and put an ass whooping to the Giants. It's just that simple, right? I'll believe the Giants when the Giants actually prove, other than last year where everybody was shocked that they made the playoffs and played as well as they did, but they were 2-7 against teams over 500. They were terrible in division. They couldn't beat teams in their division. They beat a lot of teams under 500, and their schedule is just as tough as the Cowboys' schedule. Oh, sorry, there goes my thing. That's all right. And that's the way it's supposed to go, guys. And that is the most important thing when it comes to the Cowboys. Can they get it done? And it leads back to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's got to limit those interceptions. He's got to play better, right? He played eight games last year. He didn't play a lot of games last year. He got hurt. And it just comes back to the thing. Is Dak Prescott going to be the guy? I don't know. And that is the biggest problem that we are having, because with the talented defense that the Cowboys have, with the very good offensive line that they have, Pollard has shown to be a very good running back. Dak Prescott got the weapons. Can he do it? It starts week 1 against the Giants. And that is something that we have to just keep on questioning over and over again. It's the talk of the town in Dallas. Is Dak Prescott the guy, right? We all know that they traded for Trey Lance. That, he's probably going to be our third string quarterback. Cooper Rush is going to be the backup. Cooper Rush, when he came in last year, was very serviceable, right? I mean, the fans got behind him. The team got behind him. Was very good for us. But is it time? Is there pressure on Dak Prescott knowing that Trey Lance was traded to the Cowboys? And again, we don't know what Trey Lance is. The 49ers gave up on him, obviously. But are the Cowboys really thinking about, hey, Dak, listen, we're putting some pressure on you now, right? There's already pressure wearing that star on your helmet, right? But it's do or die. You got to get the job done, right? I want to see that over 4,000-yard season. I want to see you get, the earlier in Dak Prescott's year, the interceptions were way down. And that's something you also have to look at when it comes to the Cowboys and Dak Prescott. 15 interceptions is not going to cut it at all. And I do think that with Dak Prescott, I don't know if it was decision-making. I don't know if it was not trusting the offensive line. Was it just not feeling comfortable throwing to certain receivers, certain tight ends? I don't really know, but he's got to figure it out. And I do like that Mike McCarthy is taking over the play calling, because I do think Mike McCarthy can put Dak Prescott in great situations during games. And again, week 1, the Giants defense is not exactly very good. Again, they made some moves to get better, but if you want to talk about a weakness of the Giants, is probably their defense, right? I think the Cowboys defense can definitely control the Giants offense. Again, I'm not a big believer in Daniel Jones. I think that if it wasn't for, if you look back last year to the games they won, it's when Saquon Barkley just took over a game, and Daniel Jones is basically a game manager. And I know that's going to piss off a lot of Giant fans that see this video, but it is what it is, and it's the truth, right? Yeah, he got Waller. He's got weapons. I understand that. But when you take away Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones has to make the plays. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do that, especially when Saquon Barkley basically took over games, and it was a lot easier for Daniel Jones when they crowded the box to control Saquon Barkley, and that's when Daniel Jones did a little bit of damage. But again, I know he didn't have a lot of weapons last year, but I still don't think Daniel Jones is that good. Some people are talking about him being a top 5 quarterback, top 10 quarterback. I don't know. I think he's, could he be a top 10 quarterback? Absolutely. But I do think in week 1 with the defense of the Cowboys, and again, week 1s are always very weird because nobody really plays in the preseason at all. So week 1 is like the first preseason game that actually counts. It looks like a lot of bad plays. A lot of people might not be knowing where they're supposed to go. It's going to be sloppy. So week 1 is very hard to figure out, how good a team actually is and how bad a team actually is, especially in week 1. Anything can happen in week 1. The Cowboys have something on their side. They're at home, right? The Giants have beat the Cowboys at home before. They've been very good against the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium. So we'll just have to wait and see with that. But I do think the Cowboys have all the pieces in place. We talked about the weaknesses. Is Dak Prescott the guy to do it? I don't know. I really don't know. I wish I can come out here and say, yes, he is the quarterback. He is the guy that can take that big step in the big games where it matters the most, where Dak Prescott can be the guy to put this team over the top, to raise that Vince Lombardi trophy. Can he do that? I really don't know. And it's frustrating because the talent all around this team, all around this roster is good enough. The NFC East is not very good, right? The Cowboys are good. The Eagles are good. The Giants could be good. The Commanders could be a pain in the ass, but I don't think they're good enough. I mean, there's not a lot of teams in the NFC. The 49ers, who the hell knows with Purdy, and, Sam Darnold is their backup. We don't really know. Seattle Seahawks, are you really scared of him and Geno Smith? I don't really know. The NFC North is not going to be very good. Like, the NFC is wide open for teams like the Cowboys who are talented enough, right? Everybody believes the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. That's understandable. But they can be beatable. Could the Cowboys really take advantage of a weak NFC? I think they can. And I think that's the most important thing. Again, the schedule is not easy, right? Like I told you earlier in the stream, the AFC East they're going to be playing along with the Giants and everybody else in the NFC East. That's not going to be easy. The Cowboys face the both New York teams, the Giants in week 1, the Jets in week 2. So it's going to be very interesting. At least the Cowboys have the both games at home against the Giants and the Jets, which is good to know. But I think it's so important for the Cowboys to beat the Giants in week 1, and I think they will do that. And yes, I will be going live during the Cowboys-Giants game in week 1. I will be in Minnesota actually Sunday. This weekend coming up, because I am going to the Mets game in Minnesota and checking out a Vikings game in week 1 as well on Sunday afternoon. So I'll be with you guys during the Cowboys and Giants game in a hotel watching the game. So make sure you tune into that. But when it comes to the Cowboys, once again, right? We just went over the contracts and the guys they extended, the guys they gave contracts to, right? I truly believe that this Cowboys team is probably as talented as I can remember over the last 5 or 6 years. I know that's hard to believe, but I think they are. And I think Dak Prescott is going to take that next step. I need him to throw over 4,000 yards. I think that's really important. I think they need to average around 24 to 27 points a game. I think they can do that because I think their defense can be dynamic. And I think that's the one thing that you can also look at as well with the Cowboys, that the defense is going to keep you in ball games. It's going to be up to Dak and the offense to get the job done. Can they do that? We'll see. Right? And we're going to look at the schedule really quick for the Cowboys. Just give me 1 second. We'll look at it really quickly. Excuse me. Week 1, obviously, they got the Giants. Week 2, they got the Jets. Week 3, they got the Cardinals. That should be an easy win. So, realistically, if you really think about it, the Cowboys can start 3-0, but I'm going to go 2-1 in that aspect right there because the Jets can be a very sneaky game. If the Jets beat the Bills at home in week 1, that's all the momentum going into the Cowboys game in week 2. Week 4, they got the Seahawks. They got the Patriots at home. So the first 3 out of 4 games, they're at home. Week 5, they got the Niners. Again, who knows what we know that the roster for the Niners is outstanding, but is Brock Purdy is he a flash in the pan like it was last year? Or is he actually that good? I don't know. But it is in San Francisco. It's going to be a very tough game. Right? After that, they go to Los Angeles, play the Chargers. That is something you have to look at when it comes to the Cowboys. Then they play they're in a bye in week 7. Week 8, they got the Rams. So they're going to be in California for 3 weeks, basically. I don't know if they're going to travel back home for the bye, but they're going right back. They're going to play the Cowboys. They're going to play the Rams in Dallas. Week 9, they're going to play the Eagles. First matchup against the Eagles. Week 10, they got the Giants. Again. Then week 11, they got Washington. Then they got Washington again. So back-to-back weeks, week 11. They got the Panthers in week 11. They got the Commanders in week 12. They got the Seahawks in week 13. They got the Eagles again in 14. They got the Bills in week 15. Week 16, they got the Dolphins. In week 17, they finish it up against the Lions. So it's not an easy schedule at all. The Cowboys were 12-5 last year. They were a very good team again, but they continue to do what they've done in the playoffs time and time again. They choked. They got embarrassed by the 49ers in the playoffs last year. It didn't help that Pollard wasn't there. It didn't really help that Dak Prescott wasn't basically 100%, but it's no excuses. You're on, I know the 49ers are so good. Brock Purdy was amazing, but I thought the Cowboys could have won that game. There was moments in the game where they could have took over the game early on. They did not. They failed, and the 49ers took full advantage of that. And I think the Cowboys now, in my opinion, I think they can replicate a 12-5. But I'm going to go out there on the limb there, and I think the Cowboys are going to have an excellent year. I'm going 13-4. I'm going 13-4. I know I'm going to go out there. Giant fans are going to kill me. Some Cowboy fans might think I'm crazy. I think 13-4. I think this team is very, very good. I think Dak Prescott is going to be a hell of a lot better than he was last year. I think he's going to throw for over 4,000 yards. I think he's going to limit his interceptions, which can only help. I think Tony Pollard showed you he can be that number 1 running back. I think having him behind Dak Prescott, I think is only going to help. And 13-4, I know it's a ton of wins, but I just feel like last year they made a lot of mistakes last year, and it still ended up 12-5, making the playoffs. Didn't do what they were supposed to do, but they made the playoffs. And even with a really down season for Dak Prescott, they found the way to be 12-5, make the playoffs. I think they're better this year. I think Dak Prescott's going to be better this year than he was last year. 4,000 yards, over 4,000 yards for me for Dak Prescott. 13-4. You can pick and choose what games they're going to lose, but 13-4. I think they're going to really challenge the Eagles for the division. I do think the Eagles are going to be very hard to stop. I know they lost a lot of coaches. They retained a lot of the players where a lot of people thought they were going to lose a lot more players than they did. But I think the Eagles are probably going to go like 14-3. I think they're going to win this division by about 1 game. I do think the Giants are going to sneak into the playoffs. I think they're going to get 3 teams from the NFC East to make the playoffs in the NFC, in the weak NFC. So I think the Eagles are going to win the division at 14-3. I think the Cowboys are going to be 13-4. I do think the Giants are probably going to be around. I think they're going to be about a 9-10 win team. I think the NFC is so bad. I think they're going to sneak into one of the last wild card spots in the NFC to make the playoffs. So I think NFC East 3 NFC East teams are going to make the playoffs. So, with that said, guys, 13-4 is my prediction for the Cowboys record this year for the 2023-2024 season. Obviously, Terence Steele got that big contract. We all know about the contracts the other contracts they had in the in the offseason. Zach Martin back on the tackle, back on the offensive line with Steele is only going to help Dak Prescott and Tony Pollard. Week 1, I think the Cowboys are going to show how much more talented they are than the New York Giants in Week 1. I think, in my opinion, I feel like the Cowboys are talented enough to cause a lot of damage in the NFC. It's a weak NFC, right? The NFC East is probably the best division in the NFC, obviously. You worry about the Eagles. I'm still not sure about the Giants, but I don't think the NFC West is that good. I don't trust Brock Purdy. I don't trust Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks. The NFC North is, I don't know, it's very random. I'm really not sure. The NFC South is not very good either. So the NFC West, honestly, guys, I think the Cowboys can really do some damage here. And it starts with Week 1 against the Giants. Hit them in the mount. Let them hit the floor. Don't let them get back up. Hit them again. And go on to Week 2, 1-0, going against the Jets. That's the way I see it, guys. So, with that said, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button. Hit on that subscribe button. The first ever live stream right here on the Cowboys Report with your host, Rob, right here. So, keep on coming back for more, guys. Next live stream will be Sunday Night Football. Cowboys, Giants. I'll be in Minnesota in a hotel watching the game live with you guys. So make sure you tune in, hang out with me. We have the live audio going on from the TV. We'll have fan interactions and all that fun stuff. So make sure you tune in. The Cowboys Report. Don't forget it, guys. New channel here. As a Cowboys fan, Cowboys Nation, stand up. Week 1 is only 1 week away, guys. Everybody, have a great night. Let's go, Cowboys. I'll see you next week, Sunday Night Football. Week 1, Cowboys, Giants. Have a great night, guys. Let's go, Cowboys.